Hello guys, welcome back to another video. As always, I am so excited to have you guys here, and if you're new here, hello, welcome. My name's Claire. I'm a naturopathic doctor and I'm super passionate about helping you guys feel more educated and empowered when it comes to your health. But I also know that the internet can be a overwhelming place when it comes to health information, and my goal for this channel is to help bridge the gap between the overwhelming amount of information online and tangible ways that you can implement more change into your life so that you can see improvements in your health. And with that being said, I am super excited for this week's video. You guys are always asking me for breakfast ideas. If you can't tolerate or you don't like eggs, I have eggs for breakfast basically every morning. And I often get comments on here that my meals are boring or repetitive. And guys, there is a reason for that. Over the years, I have just figured out what foods and what meals work well for me, what foods I feel good after eating, and what meals I can throw together quickly on a consistent basis and that I enjoy. And I always say I don't really think that we're struggling with a lack of access to information or inspiration when it comes to our health. In fact, I think a lot of the times we are dealing with information overload and we're not actually slowing down and listening to our bodies and seeing what we enjoy and doing that self-exploration. So with that being said, there are a lot of delicious breakfast ideas in this video, but I will say that doing your own exploration and just figuring out what you like to eat is probably going to be the best thing that you can do for your health. Figuring out what types of foods you like to eat, what foods make you feel really good, is going to actually make the most impact when it comes to your health. We all know that we should be eating a wide variety of whole foods with an emphasis on protein and fiber, but there's still a lot of variability within that. And actually going out and exploring what you like to cook, exploring the foods that you have access to on a regular basis. That is going to give you the most benefit when it comes to your health. I always say when it comes to health that the information is external, but the application is internal. And what I mean by that is you can have access to all of the information that's all external to you, but if you can't actually figure out a way to apply it into your life and you can't integrate that information into your life, you're not going to get any results from it. So with that being said, as always, I am ranting, so let's just get into the video. So over the weekend before I filmed this, me and my boyfriend actually drove out to Buffalo. So I have a bunch of stuff that I picked up in Buffalo, including the smoked salmon from Trader Joe's. Anyway, for my breakfast, I got a new loaf of bread from a local bakery. It is a rye seeded sourdough. It was honestly delicious. So I had some of that with avocado, broccoli microgreens, smoked salmon, and dill. I was gonna have 2 pieces and then I realized that the pieces were tiny, so I ended up having 3. And you guys know I love my Lazy Girl scrambled eggs with avocado as a high protein, high fiber breakfast. But honestly, this one may compete for that because it was really good as well. And then later on Monday, I did do a little bit of meal prep. So I got a comment on my last video asking me how I wash and prep my potatoes. So sometimes I will soak them in water and baking soda. I didn't do that here, but regardless, I will always just scrub them down really well. I do my best to buy organic. To be honest, I'm more concerned about the pesticides and herbicides on my produce than I am about the dirt. And then I just pop those in the oven with a little bit of salt and olive oil until they're soft and mushy. And then I moved on to lunch. So one thing I will say is that I did eat a lot of seafood this week. Like I said, every week for me is different, but I think that this week, just because I ended up cutting out eggs, I ended up eating more seafood than normal. One thing that I do love to prep in the summer is a good tuna salad. salad. It just makes meals come together really, really quick. I like to have it on hand as an easy protein source. So this is how I make my tuna salad. I'll usually do 1 can of tuna and then 2 to 3 cans of sardines. I love sardines. I actually like the taste of them. They are really, really high in omega-3 fatty acids. They're high in calcium, vitamin D, so they are great for bone health and just general health overall. And then they're also lower on the food chain, so they tend to be lower in mercury. I always just load mine up with lots of veggies and lots of herbs. Here, I think I did cucumber, red onion, a bunch of dill, salt, pepper, parsley, and then I also did mustard and half avocado mayo and half Greek yogurt to make it nice and creamy. And then I saw this thing where people were putting them on nori sheets and making like little nori wraps. So I did that with some avocado and greens. To be honest, I don't know if I loved the nori sheet. It kind of got a little bit soggy, but it was still a great lunch. And I just had that with some grapes because I have been loving the summer fruit. You guys always ask me why I don't eat a lot of fruit. I eat 12 months worth of fruit in about 2.5 months because there's not that much good fruit in Canada during the winter. So you really have to take advantage of it during the summer. Anyway, moving on to dinner. You guys can already probably tell what we are making, but we're making tempeh spring rolls, one of my favorite meals to have in the summer. I always season my tempeh the same way. I do low sodium tamari, garlic powder, and maple syrup, and I just bake it in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. And then I grated up some carrots, red cabbage, avocado. I also added in some greens. I didn't make peanut sauce because I had some left over from the weekend, but I will link a video where I make my peanut sauce. You guys know I never really measure anything when it comes to my sauces. I just kind of taste as I go and wing it, but I will definitely link a video. And yeah, that was my meals on Monday. So you guys know that I go into the office pretty early on Tuesdays, so I like to pack my breakfast with me, and because I couldn't take my normal eggs, I ended up taking some cottage cheese that I mixed with chia seeds, and then I had a ton of cherries because cherry season is here and it's so short, so I bought a ton of cherries over the weekend as well, so I packed some of those, and then I also found this grain-free cereal while I was in the States, and the ingredients in it are pretty good, so I used that as kind of a topping for my breakfast, and yeah, took that with me with my coffee to work.
Headlights off. All our friends and all their voices.
And then for lunch, I just had more of the tuna salad, but I had some cherry tomatoes and cucumbers in my fridge that I really had to start using up. So I added a little bit more of those just to use up some of the veggies and help to bulk up the tuna salad. I had it on some of my rye bread for a very delicious and quick lunch.
Tigers on trains, watching you go.
So dinner was a really good example of when I try something new in the kitchen and it just doesn't really turn out very well. I wanted to make some turkey meatballs, but I think that I overcooked them. Ever since I started eating meat again, I've always just been very nervous about cooking chicken or turkey. I'm always afraid to undercook it. And I think that I just left these on for a little bit too long. They got a little bit overcooked and they were just very tough. But we soldiered on. I also made a really nice side salad with some some broccoli, microgreens, avocado, cucumber, salt, pepper, olive oil. Honestly, the salad was probably the best part of the meal. It was delicious. And I just had some of the turkey meatballs and I warmed up some of the leftover potato that I had meal prep. I topped it off with a bunch of tahini. I also added a bunch more tahini after. Overall, it was a pretty good dinner, but I will have to try again with the meatballs.
Into the place, a spot you from a race. My heart, it started racing. The crowd across the way, flowers on your face, and then I'm from the 80s. Someone keeps blocking my way. I can't feel farther away.
So for lunch on Wednesday, I used the rest of my tuna salad to make this tuna salad wrap with a siete tortilla that I picked up while I was in the States. It was a little bit hard to roll. I was a little bit nervous to use it, but I just toasted it up on the pan and it was actually pretty good. And then for dinner, I was looking again in my fridge, just looking for things that I had to use up, and I had a bunch of shiitake mushrooms. So I toasted those up in a pan. I also added a bunch of the leftover tempeh and I added some tahini as well. And this is a really good example of just a dinner where I'm just trying to use up what I have in the fridge and just making sure that I have a source of fiber and protein within the meal. I also added some kimchi on the side for some probiotic. I also added more tahini, and I definitely added even more tahini as I ate it. And then I had some dates and almond butter for dessert.
Terminal with a sign close and personal. To see your face light up, ooh, she's a lightning moon.
So I always feel like Thursday and Fridays are my busiest days of the week. So on Thursday, I wanted something super quick before I went into clinic. So I ended up kind of having a snack plate. I had half of a sweet potato, some cottage cheese, and this cucumber avocado salad that I made that was actually really delicious. And then I came home and I picked up some chicken from the butcher shop and I just made my classic dinner, which is a big green salad with avocado, sweet potatoes, mixed greens, sauerkraut. I also added in some red cabbage. I always season that with some parsley, salt, pepper, olive oil, also some balsamic vinegar. And I just had that with a chicken thigh for dinner.
We gotta keep it up. We gotta keep it up. Butterflies, I'm turning gold. Got me spinning around like vertigo. How could I?
And then on Thursday night, I actually prepped my dinner for Friday morning. I ended up making this cottage cheese overnight oats with chia seeds. I added maple syrup, cinnamon, a little pinch of salt, some vanilla. I'm still playing around with the recipe and really perfecting it, but I just took that with some cherries as my breakfast in the morning. And normally I will pack my lunch on Fridays, but on this particular Friday, I had a little bit of a longer lunch and I live pretty close to the clinic. So I decided to come home for lunch. I just made a big salad with greens, some leftover sweet potato, chicken, avocado, sauerkraut, salt, pepper, olive oil, balsamic vinegar, parsley, just the usual. And that was my lunch. And then for dinner, we actually ended up getting sushi with my brother and his girlfriend. So that was a very nice, chill dinner. But that does bring us to the end of the video. As always, I hope you guys got some meal ideas. But as always, I encourage you to go into your own kitchen, experiment, see what foods make you feel good, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.